The civil service is the engine of government. Of course, you know, when your engine is faulty, the vehicle goes nowhere. It is on this note I welcome you to Edo Executive Platform. It is a program where we highlight His Excellency's achievement in line with the mega agenda. Felix Osageda is my name, and I have with me as usual, Sarah. Good to see you, Sarah.
Thank you, Felix. Good
How
morning.
you doing?
Very well, thank you. What can I say? God has been faithful.
Exactly.
Good morning, viewers. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Okungbowa Esq.
All right. We have leaders in government. When we're talking about government, we're talking about the executive arm of government this time. We have His Excellency the Governor, the Deputy Governor, the Secretary to State Government, the Head of Service, and of course, the Chief of Staff. These are the principal leaders in government. We are glad to tell you today that we have one of these leaders in our midst this morning, and I wouldn't want to let the cat out of the bag yet. Of course, there's a lot lined up for you, and the presence of this leader in our studio this morning will throw light, more light, in the gray areas where you'll be wanting, to know one or two things about. But before then, we'll take our news highlights. After that, we'll introduce our very big fish, quote unquote, proper. All right, Sarah.
All right. Now we'll bring to you some of the trending stories in the government cycle. The first one here says, Fear subsidy remover. Over 700 commuters benefits from Obaseki's free bus scheme in 1 month. And that saves over 314.7 million naira. Felix, what are your thoughts on this?
Wow. You see, the truth of the matter is that I keep saying that His Excellency the Governor is a 3-in-1 governor. When this issue of subsidy removal palliative came on board, some people were saying, why not give us food? Why not give us all those, those things you eat in less than how many days? You won't even remember you have taken anything. This initiative came on board, and people thought it was not a good idea. But I met someone who told me that on a daily basis it saves over 1,500 naira. So if you calculate that by 1 month, you know how much you would have saved. For me, it's a very, very laudable initiative, and we say kudos to His Excellency the Governor of Edo State.
And even to add to that, the state government is about to purchase new buses to add to the fleet of buses in that regard. And interestingly, Felix, I recall someone telling me that to travel from here to maybe Edo Central Senatorial District, they spend over 5,000 naira, if I'm not mistaken. But guess what?
Edo North is even more than that.
You are not even spending that amount of money. All you just have to do is just go to the vehicle, and that's it. You're transported to your location. So
exactly.
That's a fantastic one, and we hope to see more.
Exactly.
Like Oliver Twist.
Of course, we always ask for more. Now we have the second story here. Edo government has renovated over 336 primary schools, built 200 blocks classrooms in the last 10 months. Of course, when you go around town, you will see some of these things. We want to say kudos to His Excellency because the governor, right from day one, has placed priority on education. The reason you see us going places, several awards, Edo Best 2.0 now is what we're doing now, Edo Best Initiative. This is just, another dimension of telling us that, look, education remains a priority. We say kudos to His Excellency again.
And in addition to the Edo Best 2.0, which you just spoke about, I think it addresses the environment as it relates to our schools. Speaking of which, I think it's very important to put it out there that the state government has ordered the demolition of dilapidated structures across Edo State. Yeah. And he has said that, our students deserve the very best.
The very best, yeah.
So every building, structures, new structures that needs to be constructed in these various schools. He has said, we are going to be doing this, and we are going to be doing this in badges. And I think that's a very laudable one. Looking at what this state government has achieved in terms of education is unprecedented. We now have other people coming, Felix, to copy the Edo State, to copy the Edo Best initiative. And I think one of the major kudos was when we had the governor of Lagos State. Governor, thank you so much. And he was confidently, and he said, we copied the Edo Best initiative from Edo State. Do you know how proud that is? That was a very proud moment.
Of course, we were so happy about it. Apart from Lagos, we have had other states coming.
Absolutely.
Like the governors, which I know our guests to talk about today. I was around the government house when a delegation came from Ado Ekiti. And of course, Edo State is going places. All right, we have another story here. Betsy Obaseki says increased in private sector sponsorship will sustain women preseason football tournament. Of course, it is no news that the Obaseki women football tournament commences on Monday, 23rd of October. But just a few days back, a logo was unveiled, the team song, and all arrangements, had been put in place. And Her Excellency, the wife of Edo State Governor, solicited that people should reach out, to finding a way of, putting their money to sponsor some of this, tournaments in order to encourage sports even at the grassroots level. For me, that is another big one. We can't wait to see that the Betsy Obaseki Women Football Tournament commences on Monday.
Permit me to say, women, oh yeah!
Oh yeah!
Alright, so something big is coming to Edo in the month of November. It's the biggest event ever. This is a time where private sector come together to organize an event to mark the anniversary of the governor of Edo State. That is the Alagodaro 2023. And the Edo women youths to feature prominently in this 7th edition of this summit. And it's more interesting is the theme of this year's summit, the Edo story. Felix, did you like that? Did you hear this?
Of course I do.
Creating shared opportunities to the future. I think the last year's one was all about building a sustainable future, and I'm very happy about this this year's theme. And also, I think some of the futures, like I earlier mentioned, there's going to be Edo Women Conference where women are going to come together from the 18 local governments to discuss issues and way forward. And of course, the youth are not left out. There's going to be a youth concert, and we have different artists that are lined up, and we have our own acts, Boy Spice, we have Influencer Kaba, and so many artists lined up. It's going to be an amazing time where young people are going to come together, strategize, and also unwind. And what of importance is the fact that the governor Godwin Obaseki, is going to go on a tour to showcase some projects projects that are going to drive development in Edo State. And it's very important to also mention we have the Edo Modular Refinery is going to be taking guests to tour there, and we have the College of Nonsense, we have the Golf Muse, and so on and so forth. So and one thing I want us to note is the fact that our very own observer, Nigerian observer, will soon be unveiled.
Wonderful.
Have you been to that structure?
I've been there, and I saw you there a few days back. You decided to take a tour on your own.
Yes, absolutely.
Because you can't help but glamour over the structure. For me, that is another masterpiece, and His Excellency must be commended for that. We can't wait to see Alagodaro 2023. Last year I was there, and I saw things for myself. The governor is really doing a lot, and just our prayer that we continue to support him in whatever way we can. Lastly, on the news corner, onboarding of local government newly recruited, not recruited now, newly elected chairman.
Yes.
I think he finished yesterday, and a whole lot of the 18 local government chairmen, they were all around. I can't remember the one that was not around, but an onboarding was organized, and it was a wonderful moment. For me, in whatever capacity, if you are getting a new job or you are assigned a new duty, it's just necessary that you are taking through the necessary training.
Absolutely.
Because Edo State, we have a standard in Edo State. We shouldn't say because you are a governor, you are a chairman, you shouldn't go through. No. That's the only way we can, sustain the standard we have built over years. I think that's about the side of our news corner on Edo Executive platform this morning. Wow. Very shortly, we'll be unveiling the youngest head of service in this country, a leader of leaders, someone who is blazing the trail in terms of administration, technology, you name it. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Government special announcement. This is to inform the general public and commuters across the state that our amiable governor, His Excellency Mr. Godwin Obaseki, has approved free transport services for passengers across all Edo City Transport Service ECTS routes. The free bus rides, which kick off from Monday, September 11, 2023, is meant to cushion the effect of the fuel subsidy removal by the federal government on people of the state. The free ECTS routes within the Benin metropolis include Kingsway to Ekama Road, Kingsway to Airport Road, Kingsway to Saple Road, Kingsway to Adesua, Kingsway to Ogida, Kingsway to Ugbowo, Kingsway to Agbo Road, Kingsway to Osas Okungbowa, New Benin to Upper Mission, New Benin to Ugbowo, New Benin to Aduawa, New Benin to Kingsway, Ramat to Kingsway. For the free interstate ECTS rides, the routes are Auchi to Igala to Ubilo to Ososo, Uzeba to Ihin to Otuo, Abudu to Ubiaja, Abudu to Ronigbe, Ewohimi to Ewatu. The free bus service will run between 6:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily and spans an initial 2-month period beginning from September 11. This announcement is from the Edo State government.
Labor and time to service now. The glory of the new Edo nation will forever be our pride. Beautiful Edo, glorious Edo, you're the heartbeat of Nigeria. Beautiful Edo, glorious Edo, stars are singing over you. You're the land people dream to be. Our treasures are found in all nations, and our greatness is second to none. Our history forever shall be written, how our kings have endured all times. Our people cultured in unity, our hearts beat for the land. Rich culture, stories of heroes, legacies forever be. Beautiful Edo, glorious Edo, you're the heartbeat of Nigeria. Beautiful Edo.
All right, it's still a Do Executive platform on EBS Reloaded at Do Hour. And the time is here now. Remember, I told you a while ago that we'll be having one of the leaders of this government, Edo Executives number 4 on Edo Executive platform, Anthony Osas Okungbowa. We're glad to have you on Edo Executive platform.
Thank you very much, Felix. Thank you very much, Sarah. Good morning, everyone.
Anthony Osas Okungbowa Esq is the head of service at Edo State. He was appointed on the 1st of April 2020. He is the youngest person to have been appointed as head of service in the history of the defunct Bende State and Edo State. He is a lawyer. He has a second degree in legislative drafting, University of Lagos. Is currently undertaking his PhD at Igbenedion University, Okada. He has functioned in various capacities before his appointment as the head of service. Good morning, sir. You're welcome once again to the show.
Good morning, my sister Sarah. How are you?
Very fine, thank you. And he has a very powerful resume, so I had to try and cut it, because of the size of our package.
So allow time for other things. All right, we're glad to have you once again, the head of service.
Thank you.
There is this thing about the head of service. There's this toga of humility, and he's a fine man. All right.
Thank you.
Yes, the office of the head of service is a very busy one, and when you talk about coordination, you talk about implementation of government policies, all rest in your office. All right, tell us more about this highly exalted office.
How do I describe it? The office of the head of service, indeed the head of service, is like the leader of an orchestra. The orchestra being the service itself. And so as the conductor, every orchestra has a conductor,
Of course.
who directs proceedings.
Yeah.
And as the conductor of that orchestra, what the head of service simply does is to ensure that every part of that orchestra performs effectively. And sometimes you see the conductor of the orchestra signaling to one part of the orchestra to up the ante, to either do this or that, just ensuring that everything is working well with that orchestra. That's what the head of service does, as far as the service is concerned. The head of service is like the connecting rod in an engine. And you know what the connecting rod does?
Of course.
As a connecting rod, the head of service actually is the bridge between the service, that is the workforce,
Yeah.
and the political class.
Yes,
And the connecting rod in an engine is always oiled. And so the head of service ensures that the connecting of that connection, that nexus between the political class and the service, the workforce, is continuously and consistently oiled, so that there's no breakdown of the engine. The head of service is like the carburetor in an engine. In an engine you have a carburetor,
Of course.
and then the carburetor, the good fuel is mixed with air. And what the result of that is energy that moves the car forward.
Sure.
So as the head of service, what you do is to ensure that all of that intermix, between the political and the workforce is done in such a way that the engine of the vehicle is able to move effectively. In reality, the head of service is like a workshop where all the things, all the problems and troubles in the service are identified and fixed. So essentially, the head of service is a coordinator in the system. He ensures that the workforce aligns with the political class to deliver quality governance to the people in terms of strategy, in terms of whatever work that the service needs to do to serve as that instrumentality of government. Through which government, ensures that quality governance is delivered to the people. So that's what the head of service does.
All right. There's this thing about the civil service, and again, there's another one, the public service. A lot has been said about the civil service. You are the head of service, and we also have this, I don't want to call it discrepancy, I don't want to call it a separation. I still want to believe that it's in the same direction.
Correct.
In reality, what is the difference between the civil service and public service?
I explain it simply. If you have done chemistry, you know that there's a comment that is usually very, very commonly made, which is that all alkalis are bases. I don't know how many of us here have done chemistry, but not all bases are alkalis. Alkalis are bases that are soluble in water. But there's also a group of alkalis. There's a group of bases that are not soluble in water. In the same manner, all civil servants are public servants.
Okay.
But not all public servants are civil servants. Now, the macrocosm is the public service, but the microcosm is the civil service. What do I mean? The civil service is that part of the public service that deals with policy formulation and, in many cases, oversight. But there are other parts of the service that deal with the implementation of the policy that has been formulated. The policy simply means, the direction of government over the next 1 year, over the next 2 years, over the next 10 years. It is the civil service that deals with that. But every other part of the service deals with the implementation or the execution of the policies that the civil service has enunciated. So the civil service is that brain box of the public service. And usually there are very few in the ministries. But all the boards, all the commissions, all the other agencies that are not ministries, they are part of the public service. I hope you understand the difference now.
Yes.
Of course.
So one deals with policy formulation and oversight, and the other deals with implementation
and execution.
Wow, fantastic. So now let's take this conversation a little bit further, talking about the civil service reform in Edo State. Now, from a very conducive atmosphere of for workers to work, to an increased minimum wage pay. Yeah, I think the highest in the country, if I'm not mistaken.
At the moment.
And then to the civil service going paperless. Talking about the Edo Gov. So I want you to give us, a broad explanation on how do you go about this thing? How did you get to that level?
The e-governance.
Yes. How did you foresee that? How did you get to that level?
So that,
I really need our people to
exactly.
to understand what is going on.
Okay, let me go
in
through.
depth.
Just touching on the basics.
Okay.
Now, all of this that you see is the brainchild of Mr. Governor. When he came on board, one of the first things he told us was that the civil and public service were the engine of government. And for the governor, if you want or desire governance to run effectively, then that engine of government must run effectively.
Exactly.
And that is why Mr. Governor has invested so much in developing and growing the civil and public service to this point where it can actually serve as that instrumentality through which the initiatives of government are powered. Now, one of the first things he did was, giving us the instruction to do a deep dive. Because he said to us, the civil service, the public service is broken. Now, why is the public service broken? Why is the public service unable to do all of the things that it used to do? First Republic, through the part of the military regimes that we had in this country, the civil and public service were an asset to government. But going forward, the civil service and public service have become a lame duck as far as governance is concerned. And you see politicians blaming the civil and public service as not being able to do what they ought to do to ensure that it services, the initiatives of government. So Mr. Governor said, do a deep dive. What is the problem with the civil and public service? And we found out that there was a plethora of problems. Welfare was an issue. Work processes were an issue. The organostructures or the ministries and the departments and agencies of government were developed in the 60s. In some cases, even earlier than that. But they were still being used.
In 21st century.
It's like putting a new wine in an old wine skin. You know what the Bible says about that? And then intellectual property resource development was a major handicap. There was no deliberate and strategic attempt to ensure that the intellectual property development of the civil and public service was taken care of. So there were a lot of problems. And then most importantly, the work processes were slow because they were manual. And so Mr. Governor told us, go ahead and deal with all of this. And he ensured that everything that was necessary to be done to give fillip and support to that effort, Mr. Governor provided. Today, Edo State workers, in terms of welfare, like you rightly observed, are the best paid workers of the public service in the whole of this country.
Yes.
Why the government of Edo State pays 40,000 at minimum wage? Every other state, and even the federal government pays less than that, in fact 30,000. All right?
Yeah.
Now, today, Edo State workers receive, by December, we'll be receiving the 13th month.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen anywhere in this country. What that means is that January to December, 12 months.
Yeah.
But in December, the government will pay us a 13th month. Where else will you find that in this country?
Now that things are taking a different
Exactly. So,
direction.
in other states, while other people are saying there's a casting down, in Edo State, we are saying there's a lifting up. Because we have a governor who is, intense and is doing everything within his power to ensure that the stakes are raised and that the civil and public servants are able to perform optimally so that they can do that which the system says they should do, empowering the initiatives of government. Workplace environment. You have gone to first the John Odigi Oyegun Public Service Academy.
Of course.
You have gone to the secretariat buildings. In fact, I have staff there who will tell me on a Saturday they want to come, on a Sunday they want to come
Of course.
to the office because you have 24 hours electricity.
Yes.
You have internet. Almost 24 hours. How many of them have that in their homes? So they want to sleep in the office if it is possible. It's the best workplace environment in this country right now. Today, we have the best intellectual property resource development center, the JOPSA, John Odigi Oyegun Public Service Academy, in the whole of this country today. It is the best, and people are coming from far and near to see what Edo has done with JOPSA. So a lot has been done. And the significant thing about even the salary raise and all of that, last year, when it was raised by the governor, I tell you, in the history of salary raise, as far as this country is concerned, every attempt made by government to increase the salaries of workers has been a product of an agitation by labor.
Of course.
But the last one this governor did, labor didn't even know. I didn't know until the day we're going to, for the May 1st event. And we announced it, everybody was taken by surprise. And so today, we're the best paid workers in the whole of this country. So, what we have always told our people is that to whom much is given, much is expected. So, having been invested in so much, in every aspect of our life, today the government is even building a club for us, a brand new club for us. Now, even in secretariat, just to take care of the work. I mean, when you finish your work,
exactly.
You have to go and unwind and all of that.
Yeah.
It has started, and over the next 4 or 5 months, it will be completed.
Wow.
So a lot is being done. The government is building, a hall for us within the secretariat building, and of course, significantly, the government is building an eatery for us.
Wonderful.
So all of what you require in the service, government has provided, and so we have no reason not to perform as civil and public servants.
When the issue of the paperless first came over, when the conversation came, I was like, nah, this is going to die in less than, it's going to die in natural death in less than few. I mean, how it was before now.
Correct.
You go and then you go to, when you go to an office and you want to make inquiry, they will say, okay, go and check for your file. You see heaps of files, and now they're telling us that, oh no, you see, this governor said no way, we are going paperless, and I'm like, no, that's going to die in natural death.
Because we have not seen it before.
So I'm just wondering how how do we able to transmit all these to go paperless?
Now let's go back to how it started. The veritable starting point for this initiative was when the governor pronounced to everybody that he will be the last governor in Edo State to treat fiscal affairs. When they mentioned it for the first time, we're like, wow. But again, he kept mentioning it. And he meant it. And so, since that time, he has deliberately, the government of Edo State has deliberately, vigorously and aggressively pursued that initiative. It started with the archiving of documents. There's this difference between digitization and digitalization. I was trying to explain it earlier.
Okay.
The digitization process is that process that has to do with transmitting or transforming what you have as paper, and automating it and making it,
maybe for storage
digital,
or something.
for storage.
Okay.
Now that's the first part of the process. Now, so far, because we got the company to do that, the government got the company to do that, it's expensive. CSCS have been doing that for us. And so far, 50 million documents have been archived.
50 million.
50 million. And in the next phase of this process, we're doing another 20 million. So on the whole, we'll have 70 million documents archived in Edo State. But beyond that, we now have the capacity internally, because that capacity has been built over time, to be able to do the archiving. Because when CSCS leaves, when the company that is doing it for us leaves, we'll be able to do it ourselves going forward. So that was the first part of it. Then using those archived documents to run government is the digitalization part of it. So right now we have a digitalized service, because effective September 1st, 2023, Mr. Governor said to us, there will be no more paper in government. And since then, there has been no paper in government. And Edo State is the first in the history of this state, and we have confirmed, in the history of West Africa public services, to be able to achieve that. And that is why recently, of the 8 awards that were in offer by the Bureau of Public Service Reforms, 5 were taken by Edo.
5?
5 of the 8.
Out of 8?
Out of
just
the 8.
The government?
One government. So, and people are coming in droves. My colleagues are coming to see how Edo State was able to do what it has done. But I tell you the truth, it's not a cheap expenditure. And only governments and only governors like our governor who understand that the future of this country, the future of the world, is in digital governance, will be able to invest in it. Why do I say so? When you see an infrastructure, because there's been investment in the soft and hard infrastructure of ignorance. When you see an infrastructure, digital infrastructure that costs 2 billion, you can just pick it from somewhere, put it in your pocket and go away. So it's not something that people can, like they say, IMAC.
Relate to
People
that.
cannot relate with it. It doesn't resonate with people. And you know, politicians like things. They want to see
projects.
Because the people
Structures.
want to see structures. And of course, this government has a lot of that. You know, so the biggest disincentive for investment as far as digital governance is concerned is the fact that what you get is not really so visible. And so people are not interested in it. But governments like this one, who understand what it means, will invest in it. That's what the governor has done. There's been a lot of investment in tech refresh, which costs quite a lot of money. Right now, Edo is investing in fiber optic deployment across the nooks and crannies of this country. What that means is that by the end of November, when the first phase of the project is completed, it would mean that every child in virtually every part of the state will be able to access the internet without having to come to Benin and showcase what is capable of to the world.
Having a workshop online to tell the world that I'm here. Wow, I think a lot is being said. This is just one of the editions of Edo Executive Platform you wouldn't want to miss. Well, we'll take a break right now. I know a lot is going to happen here today. There are so many areas that we've not touched. We just pray that time permits us to touch the basics that you need to know. Edo Executive Platform with Antonio Osas Okungbowa, Edo State Head of Service, makes a return right about a few minutes from now. What am I even saying? Just a few seconds. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. All right, this is Edo Executive Platform on Edo Broadcasting Service. The head of service of Edo State, Antonio Osas Okungbowa, is still very much with us in the house. Sarah.
Yes, before the break, our HOS was telling us about the fiber optics, across the 18 local governments and all that. Because I can remember vividly, went to the Victor Wifo Creative Hub, and I recall I was able to connect to the free Wi-Fi service.
I trust you.
And for I don't know what Felix means, but I need to put it out there. I think that was a very brilliant move. Sometimes you get to some places and you are unable to access the internet by virtue of your own our network system, and being able to connect at that point in time, I think it was a very beautiful one. So I want to ask, is this still on? Is this something that anytime you just go there, you can connect? Don't just with a Wi-Fi creative.
Even with Jupsa at the time.
So is this still on?
There are digital hubs all around the city. The plan is to extend that to the headquarters of every local government. But what is being done goes beyond that. The fiber optic deployment, you see, there's a difference between, you see MTN, you see all of that. All of that is in the air. But what Edo is doing is digging tunnels. And which is a lot more, fiber optics is a lot better than all of those that you find. So in terms of connectivity, it's a lot better. So what Edo is doing is to connect everywhere.
And introduces the hazards that this must.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the first time in the history of any state in this country. There's no state that has done as much as we have done in fiber optics connection. There's not. So it's a deliberate effort of government to open up our children. So all of those things that our children used to do in terms of, they can now become profitable, put their heads into it, expose their talents to the world, and the world can see how much of what they can do and engage them. There are people today here in Edo State who are working abroad.
True.
Any dollars.
And they are here.
They are working from home. Absolutely. True.
So what is happening in Edo is a revolution. And people yet don't know. Today I can take my system. I have my system. I can work here. I can go to the US, go to the UK, anywhere in the world, and work on my files. And so I'm no longer limited by physical space. in terms of what I can do or my work. So the fact that I'm not present in the office doesn't stop the office from running. When I'm on leave, I work. So you see, our work has become a lot more efficacious, and a lot more efficient, and a lot more effective. Our work has become, all of that corruption that used to happen. You see, some people want to address corruption, frontally. What this government has done is to take away the opportunity for civil servants to be corrupt. Those days, it used to be the case that civil servants would hide files. Sometimes the rug, that you had were veritable citadels for hiding files.
Of course.
But right now, I have all my files in the system. So nobody's going to hide any file from me. I see everything. So if I want any of the files, I call it up. And the significant thing about it is that where we are going is that the system, the Edo system, will issue you queries. If you keep a file beyond 48 hours, the system will recognize and issue you query. You get a first query, you get a second query.
It generates a query.
It generates a query on its own.
Wow.
So people don't understand what's going on. When you sit down and look at what Edo has done and where we are going with Edo, it's the most effective instrument of governance. So from the 1st of September, all of the government of Edo State, all of the governance issues, all of the business of government in Edo State is now digital. No more paper in the system.
Okay, if you have gone digital, what about those in the system who have never, I still know some civil servants who don't have Android phones. How are they coping? What are you doing to ensure that they come up speed?
2 or 3 ways. Now, we have about 6,000 computers right now. But in reality, yes, I don't think there's any state that comes close to that. Now, but in reality, we have 13,000 workers. So we have a deficit of 32,000.
You want to do it in such a way that every worker will have a system?
We can't do that. We don't have
That's quite expensive.
So we have devised means of ensuring that you're able to work on the Edo platform and access the platform, work effectively there without the need for you to have a laptop.
Okay.
2 or 3 other ways. First, we have what we call the kiosk system.
Okay.
In every ministry, department, and agency, there is you will have 2 or 3 not laptops, desktops, put together in a conspicuous place in each MDA where people can go, work, access the Edo platform, work on it, and exit. But in reality, I don't have this 24/7. I only use it when I want to use it.
Yeah.
So what you need is not to own a laptop.
Okay.
It is to be able to access the Edo platform. And that kiosk is providing that access.
Wow.
The second way is the app, the Edo app. We have deployed an app, which most people have. If you have an Android phone, you can deploy it and then work on it just like I can work with my computer now. So that is targeted at people who we are not giving laptops to.
Okay.
All right, and then we also have the buy to own. Government is working on it, and it's not working. We have deployed it already. Government will provide laptops.
A laptop, okay.
All right, provide a company or a bank that would provide the money to finance it, and then you will indicate whether you want or not. If you want a laptop, you will pay a part of the money, 50%.
Then
Government will pay the other 50%.
wonderful.
And the governor has said, for every civil and public servant who keys into that initiative, you should not pay to defray the whole thing. You should not pay more than 5,000 every month. So what that means is that at the end of the day, you have your own laptop. It is in your name. So when you are leaving the system, you take the one like this one, that is in the name of government, it's not my own. So, but government has an equity in it, and so you use it because of that equity purchase to do government business. So all of these means enable us to have nobody excluded, from the system, even though we may not have as many as 38,000 laptops.
But just like you said, I think the idea is not just to own, because we have this mentality of it's my own, it's my own. But the idea is for you to find something to work effectively.
Correct.
Whether it's for government or it's just there, I think it's a good initiative.
Yes, it is. You said a lot today. Some that I'm just hearing for the first time. And everything about life for me is sustainability.
Correct.
All right? So I'm just wondering, out of everything we have listened to today, is it something that is sustainable in terms of when this current administration led by Governor Godwin Enogegase Obaseki leaves power? Is it something that we'll see that the framework is already designed?
Of course,
it's still going to be there
enjoying it.
and even more better. So I want you to really throw more light so that people will get to hear that.
Sarah, one of the questions I get frequently asked is this: sustainability. Because all of these efforts that have been made, all of this investment that has been made by this administration, if it's not sustained, it will be better if we hadn't embarked on it at all. So how do we intend to sustain it? One of the ways we're doing that is because the government has directed that we have a law to back up all that we're doing. Now this e-gov initiative, we are now paperless. So the question of going back on it will not arise if we have a law that says all you can do, the only means of working in government is paperless. That's number one. But as a legislative draftsman, I know that alone will not ensure sustainability. And so we are consciously building this initiative in the hearts and minds of the people.
Owning it.
So everything that we've done with this system, we have co-created with the civil and public servants. Before we went paperless, we had a workshop. Everyone had a part to play in it. Today, we go around every ministry, department, and agency. We have gone around 4 times to just talk to the people, sensitize them.
Yeah.
Because we find that if you have studied change, what you will discover very easily is that you need to keep talking to people about it. You need to tell them what is the need for them.
Okay.
Otherwise, you'll be running. One day you get to a point, look, but you're not seeing anybody run with you. And change is about the people.
Sure.
So it's important that we keep sensitizing them. And that's what we're doing. And by sensitizing them, we're co-creating the initiative and we're building this thing in the hearts and minds of these people. And they're the ones who are carrying it. They are the ones who are now saying, I give you an instance. There was a woman who said to us over her dead body, she cannot do Edo Golf in one of the ministries and departments and agencies. Today, Felix, Sarah, that woman is teaching others.
And she is still alive.
She's around. She's the one teaching others. So it's been so impactful. And you know very well that this thing makes your work easier.
Yes.
So for us, I don't want to carry 100 files. The files are there.
Just a click away.
Just a click away. So you see that it is the people that are actually owning it now and driving it. So there is no governor. When the governor said you'll be the last governor who will treat fiscal files, he meant it to. Today our plan is that having started on September 1st, even though the project started on November 1st, 2021, but we are completely taking our paper from the system on September 1st, 2023. Our plan is that over the next 12 months, from September, this government had about 14 months to live.
Of course.
So over the next 12 months, which is about 10 months from now, now the system of e-governance would have been so solidified and entrenched. Because there's no alternative now. Everybody now is computer literate in the system.
Yes.
It never was like that before. So there's no going back. When the next governor comes, he has to learn to work the way we work.
Exactly.
It's just a choice. So that's the thing that we're doing. And the people are carrying this, on. And it will be sustained on that one.
Let's talk about employment generally. As the head of service, you will agree with me that in the past, employment is actually one area that the past administrations did not get right at all. At the time when you are coming to this state, if you don't know the head of service, you don't know the governor, you don't know people in government, you hardly find a job. And from available information, from our findings, of course, we now know that employment is merit-based.
Sure.
How are you able to do this? How did you get here? Why did because you have sustained it now for some years. How are you succeeding with this?
We have a governor who knows the direction in which he wants to go. And he's pulling all of us along. We're just flying on his wings. And that's what is happening. The governor told us from the get-go, no child of Edo should be disentitled from getting a job in Edo simply because he does not know anybody in the system. And he said to us, coming into government to work should be a result of what you know and who you know, and not who you know. And that's why of all the people we have employed for the past 3 or 4 years since I've been head of service, there's been none given to us by the government.
Doesn't have a list.
It doesn't happen. Everyone has come in on merit. And this is the only state, Felix, where first-class graduates of Edo extraction in any university in this country get automatically employed into the system. You don't need to know anyone. And I give you a gist. You know, when you hear some of the things that people are saying, you will know why the governor, intended to go this way and is going about it vigorously and, as much as he could with all his strength. Now, when the governor first asked us about 2 years ago to employ first-class graduates, I had one I interacted with in the course of that interview. I led the interview team. And the young man told me, okay, I don't think this thing will work. I said, why? He said, I've been here before. It didn't work. 8 or 9 years ago, I applied. I got the notice of vacancies on my phone. And my friend was with me. I had first class. My friend had third class. I drew his attention to it. And both of us went together to Akbaba to apply. And alas, he got the job. I didn't.
First class.
And so he said, look, I don't think, but my parents just said I should apply. That's why I'm here. That young man is in service today.
Yeah.
So automatically, so you can see that when you're building an inclusive system, there'll be a lot of talk, a lot of throwback, a lot of fight back and all of that. But everyone who is with the governor on this journey understands the mindset of the governor. The governor said to me one day, look, if I give all the jobs that are available, there were 300 jobs available at that time, so I went to him. So what do I do? He said, if I give all these jobs, do you know I have a big family? I said, yes, sir. It's possible that in my family there are more than 500 people employed. If I give all of these jobs to my people, what will it be left for the others? I'm shocked. So because of that, he's not giving us one person. And that's why even my own sister, I couldn't give her a job. She had computer science. People were, in the aptitude test, but unfortunately, because she had not been working as a computer scientist, the questions that were asked in the interview were questions she couldn't really answer much. And some people came to me to say, I said, no, the government has not given anybody to us. The other officers of government are not doing that. So why should I do that? That's why the young woman could not get a job. Before, sister to the head of service,
Get a job straight up.
So these are the things. You see, the point I'm trying to make is where a leader stands, everybody stands with him. So that's why they say when the head is clean, the body will be clean.
All right, we are still having wonderful interaction with the head of service, Edo State, Osas Okungbowa Esq. Well, we have just a few minutes left, but let's quickly ask questions in this direction. When you go around the city, you drive around, you see a lot of projects. Of course, the governor has a taste. He has whatever he does, comes with a touch of class. They are scattered all over. And the governor has about a year to leave office. Are you certain that this project will be completed before the expiration?
The governor has promised to complete all the projects. Secretary Council meetings, he keeps saying it. We will complete every project before this administration exits. And this government just has to, because Mr. Governor is someone who understands, how governance works. But in reality, assuming that it does not happen, government is a continuum, of course. And if you look at what happened in Secretariat, you will find that if the next government doesn't want to do it, the people will insist on it being done. So these are the things. But Mr. Governor has made a promise that he will complete all the outstanding projects.
All right, so before we draw the curtains to the end of today's edition, what is your words of advice for Edo people that are watching you now?
Especially the workforce.
Let me start with
the engine of government.
Let me start with that. I said earlier that to whom much is given, much is expected. There's been a lot of investment in the workforce of this state. And so the trust and confidence that bettered those investments, which the governor has in us, we must ensure, civil and public servants, that we work to justify them. And so, but in any case, the system is now structured in such a way that there's no hiding place. We have a new performance management system. I wish I had the time to talk about that. So, unlike before, when you were promoted, by the way, this governor has insisted and ensured that no outstanding promotions now. Up to 2022, promotions are being done. So, and that's the first time in the history of this state that will happen. In fact, in my time, when I was appointed permanent secretary from grade level 15, I should have been on grade level 16 for 2 years. So I lost promotion for 2 years, maybe 3 years. You know, so but that doesn't happen anymore. So all of that investment, get promotions, your workplace is beautiful, your work processes and your organograms have been restructured, everything has been done for you. Now we even do virtual trainings. There's a training calendar now. So all of that you need to work effectively and succeed in partnering with the political class to make sure that the dividends of democracy get to the people, you have it. So you have no reason not to work well. And in any case, the system is tracking you. Whenever you get to work, that's where we're going to. The system will know. If you have not worked on your files, the system will know. So there's no hiding place. Or like before, when let my people go, when it's time to get promoted, all of us will get promoted. No. Promotion now is based on your offerings.
You must
what have you put on the table? You must earn it.
Yes.
So we don't have a choice. But even if those things were not there, with the investments that have been done in us, we have a reason to ensure that we don't disappoint government.
Well, I want to sincerely thank you, the head of service of Edo State, Anthony Osas Okungbowa Esq, for finding time to join us on the Edo Executive Platform today. Well, this is not the kind of program you want to just do one-off and forget about it. I want to believe that when next we knock on your door, you would oblige us.
The door is not locked, so you can always come.
You operate an open door policy anyway. So I want to believe that there's a need for a part 2, if not part 3. Let's just be going, because the kind of reforms we see, the kind of achievements, the kind of things we see, there are things that we should constantly talk about. And I believe that when I should call on you, you will oblige us. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you. God bless you.
It's a pleasure having you. All right, this is about the side of our package on Edo Executive Platform this Saturday. The program makes a repeat broadcast on Monday at 2 p.m. Well, Edo State belongs to all of us. We must do our best to ensure that even before 2050, Edo State becomes the state to live and prosper. I'm very certain that before the year 2050, we will get there. Felix Osagira remains my name. I'm saying have a wonderful weekend ahead.
And just to put it out there, why the state government will continue to do their part, let us as citizens play our part. Let us take charge of public institutions. Let's take charge of public infrastructure around us. Let us safeguard it. Let us keep monitoring it. A lot of vandalization of our street light. Let us stand and be watchful. Edo belongs to us all. Meet you same time next week. It's a bye for now. My name is Ingubosera.